What about the forest floor? So first of all, dig a small pit, put vegetable waste and leaves it in. Cover them with soil, add some water. After 3 days, remove the upper layer of the soil. Does the pit feel warm inside? So student, after some time, if you will check your pit, so you feel some warm inside the pit. Finally, as there are so many trees here. Also, there are many forests like this. What a difference will it make if we cut some trees for a factory? So Paheli says that so many trees are here and same forests are on other side. Then if we cut some trees for factories, then what is the difference? Professor Ahmed said, you have read about heterotrophs and saprotrophs. You have learned how tree plant produce food. All animals, whether herbivorous or carnivorous, depends ultimately on plant for food. So student, we know that we and animal also are directly or indirectly dependent on the plant. So plant is the most important source for our food. And organisms which feed on plant often get eaten by other organisms and so on. For example, grass is eaten by insects, which in turn is taken by the frog. The frog is consumed by snakes. So this is said to form a food chain. It means grass is eaten by insects, insects is eaten by frog, and frog is eaten by snakes, and snake is eaten by eagle. Many food chain can be found in the forest. So all food chain are linked, and we know that all the animals, insects, humans are linked together. They are dependent each other. So if any one food chain is disturbed, it affects other food chains. So every part of the forest is dependent on the other parts. If we remove one component, say trees, all the other components would be affected. It means all the plants and animals are make a food chain and all the food chain are linked to each other. So if we remove any one component of this chain, so all the other animal, all the other organisms are disturbed. Professor Ahmed asked the children to pick up leaves from the forest floor and observe them under a hand lens. They found tiny mushrooms over the leaf. So here student, the cane leaves also show an army of tiny insects, millipedes, ants and beetle on them. So student, whenever we observe a dry leaves in the forest, so we can see some small insects or mushrooms on the leaves. They would wondering how those organisms live there. Professor Ahmed explained that apart from these animals which are easily seen, there are several organisms and microorganisms that live in the soil. So we know that so many microorganisms are live inside the soils. Paheli wondered what mushroom and the other microorganisms eat. So Professor Ahmed replied that they feed upon all the dead plant and animal tissues and convert them into a dark colored substance called humus. So student, already we learned in chapter 9 what is the humus. So it means all the dead substance are converted into black colored substance and it is called the humus. You learned about humus in chapter 9. In which layer of the soil would you find humus? What is the importance of the soil? So student, we already learned in the chapter 9 about the soil. Next, the microorganisms which convert the dead plants and animals to humus are known as decomposers. So student, those plants and animals are converted dead parts into humus is called decomposers, and these microorganisms play an important role in the forest. So Pioneer removed some dead leaves and discovered under them a layer of humus on the forest. So after removing some layer of leaves, Paheli see the humus layer. The presence of humus ensures that the nutrients of the dead plants and animals are released into the soil. So from the humus, nutrients are released into soil. From there, these nutrients are again absorbed by the roots of living plants. What happens if an animal died in the forest? So Saila asked the question, what happens if animals are died in the forest? So Tibu replied that dead animals become food for vultures, crows, jackals and insects, and in this way the nutrients are cycled so nothing goes waste in the forest. So if we say that dead plant parts are in the forest, then they are decomposed into humus and ultimately it's stored in the soil, and plant roots are take these nutrients. And if animal is dead in the forest, so many omnivorous and carnivorous eat this dead animal, some insects eats. So directly or indirectly, no any waste in the forest. Finally reminded that Professor Ahmad, he had not explained why forests are called a green lungs. So Professor Ahmad explained that plants release oxygen through the process of photosynthesis, and the plant help to provide oxygen for animal respiration. They also maintain the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and that is why forests are called green lungs. So Payali asked to Professor Ahmad why we call forest is a green lungs. So we know that student plants are very helpful to maintain the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. We know that student plant take O2 for their food and release carbon dioxide. And in the respiration system, plant takes CO2 and release oxygen. And on the other side, animal take O2 in the respiration and release CO2. So this CO2 is ultimately used by plants. So plant is very helpful to maintain the balance of CO2 and O2 in the atmosphere. And that's why we call forests are our green lungs. The children show cloud forming in the sky. Buzo recalled that what we had learned about the water cycle in class 6. Trees take in water from their roots and release water vapor into the air through evaporation. So student, we know about the water cycle. So we already learned in class 6. We know that plant take a water through their roots and release water vapor into atmosphere through the process of evaporation. If there were fewer trees, how will the water cycle be affected? Tibu told them that the forest is not just a home to plants and animals. Many people also live in the forest. Some of them may belong to different types. It means Tibu said that forest is not only a home for animal or plants or birds, but it is also a home of many peoples, many communities. And in the forest there are different type of communities. Tibu explained that these people depends mostly on the forest. It means they find their food from the forest. Also they pick some items like fruits, leaves, and make some baskets some vessels, and now they sold out in the market and they earn some money. The forest provides them with food, shelter, water and medicines. So we know that in the forest they are live, and also they use some medicinal plants, they food and many etc. So they have traditional knowledge about many medicinal plants in the forest. And this community have a traditional knowledge about the medicinal plants. How to make medicine from any plants. While Uzo was drinking water from a small stream, he saw some deer crossing the stream. They disappeared into the bushes. The dense bushes and the tall grass provide animals with the food and shelter. They also protect them for carnivores that live in the forest. So student, we know that some bushes, it means a cloud of trees and grasses, and protect some animals, some herbivorous from omnivorous. Tipu then started looking closely at the forest floor. Soon he called and showed the children dropping off some animals and explained that the difference between various types of droppings. Professor Ahmed informed them that the forest officers could recognize the presence of some animal in the forest by their droppings and footprints. Droppings and footprints, the forest officers are recognize some animals. Buzo called everyone and showed them a large decaying heap of animal dropping. Several beetles and grubs were feeding on the heap and a bunch of seedlings was sprouting. So these seedlings are of the herbs and shrubs, and the animal also disappeared the seeds of certain plants and help the forest to grow and regenerate. So student, here we can see that in the forest the Buzo shows some herbs and fruits. It means bundle of seeds are sprouted at one time, and these type of seed are help to forest for their growth. The decaying animal does also provide nutrient to the seedling to grow, said Professor Elmer. After listening to this, Buzo not in his notebook by harboring greater variety of plant, the forest provide greater opportunities for the food and habitats for the herbivores. So we see that student in the forest there are greater varieties of plants and as well greater varieties of animals in the forest. So larger number of herbivores means increase the availability of food for variety of carnivores, and the wide variety of animals help the forest to regenerate and grow. So we know that student variety of herbivores, it means more varieties of food of carnivorous, and as well as for omnivorous. So they all are help and regenerate to forest. Decomposer help in in maintaining the supply of nutrients to growing plants in the forest. Therefore, the forest is a dynamic living entity, full of life and variety. So we know that student we call forest a dynamic living entity for animals, for plants. It was about afternoon and children wanted to go back. So Tipu suggested another route for going back. While they were going back, it started raining. So, however surprising, they show that the raindrops were not hitting the forest floor directly. So, in the return, student, it's a rainy atmosphere, and student said that raindrops is not hitting directly a forest floor. So the uppermost layer of the forest canopy intercepted the flows of the raindrops, and most of the water was coming down through the branches and then stem of the trees. So from the leaves it was dripping slowly over branches of the shrubs and herbs. So they found that the ground was still dry after about half an hour's rainstorm. Students are very surprising scene after half an hour when rain is stopped, but forest floor is not get wet because of canopy of the forest. So they noticed that the layer of dead leaves over the forest floor appeared wet now, but water did not penetrate and the forest. Buzo thought that if it had rained so heavily in his town, it would have flooded the drains and roads. Buzo noticed that if in that cities rain is coming for half an hour, then it's a situation like floods. What would happen if the rain heavily in your town? So student, remember that what would happen in your town. Professor Emmett told them that the forest also acts as a natural absorber of the rainwater and allows to exit. So it helps maintain the water table throughout the years. Forests not only help in controlling floods but also help maintain the flows of water in the stream so that we get a steady supply of water. On the other hand, if trees are not present, rain hits the ground directly and may flood the areas around it. So if student we know that the ground has no any trees, then rainwater is directly hit the ground floor, the soil layer. So it is removed and roots of trees normally make the soil together, but in their absence the soil is washed away or eroded. So forests are very helpful in also rainy season. Children spend an hour at Tibu's village. On their way back, the weather of the village was quite pleasant. Villagers told them that due to the surrounding forest, they receive good rainfall. Villager of Tibu's village said that due to the forest surrounding them, they got a blissful rainfall throughout year. The air also reminded cool. Noise pollution too is less because the forest absorbs the noise of the nearby highway. The children learn about the history of the village. It surprised that the village and agricultural fields of the areas were created after clearing the forest about 60 years ago. So Tibu's villager says that about 60 years ago they cleaned the forest and make some fields, some agricultural areas. Tibu's grandfather told them that when he was young, the village was not as large as it was now. It was also surrounded by forest. And after some years, construction of roads, buildings, industrial developments, and increasing demand of wood created pressures pressure on the forest and it started vanishing. He was not happy that the forest adjoining their village is not regenerating and is now on the verge of disappearing due to overgrazing of animals and discriminated feelings of the trees. But Professor Ahmed said that if we did things wisely, we could preserve the forest and environment as well as have a development. So, student, if we carefully remove some trees and make some industrial areas, then also we and forest are not affected. But it was done very carefully in the Timus village. Children prepared a few pictures to show the consequence of such an event. After that, at the end of the visit, Professor Ahmed asked the children to sum up the importance of the forest. The children brought forest to provide us with oxygen. They protect soil and provide habitat to the large number of animals. Forests help in bringing good rainfall in the neighborhood areas. They are a source of medicinal plants, timber, and many other useful products. We must preserve our forests. So we know that, student, what is the importance of the forest? So it provides pure oxygen, it provides shelter for some animals, some birds, and also it provides some medicinal plants, some furniture. So we must preserve our forest. Here, student, you can see that how forests are disappeared. So is here you can see that many pictures are seen. So many factors are affected the forest and they are responsible for the deforestation. Thank you.